Welcome back to the Mansuri Review. We're diving deep today, and we have some really interesting stuff to go over from the Mansuri Show on ARY Digital PV, and some great articles from Pakistan Link and Urdu Link.
Always exciting to dig into these sources and see what we can find.
Yeah. Today, we're going to be looking at Pakistan's diplomatic efforts in the U.S., specifically in the Northeast.
Definitely a busy area, and with such a large Pakistani-American population, it's important we take a closer look at how the Consulate General in New York operates.
Right. And luckily, we've got, the Consul General himself, Mr. Aamer Ahmad Atozai, on the Mansuri Show, and those insightful articles from Pakistan Link and Urdu Link to walk us through it.
So much to unpack. I'm already fascinated by Mr. Atozai's background over 20 years in the Pakistan Foreign Service. His postings have been all over the place: Canberra, Dhaka, even Moscow. He even speaks fluent Russian.
Now, that's impressive. It really shows his diplomatic experience and ability to adapt. And now he's leading this crucial consulate in New York, covering 12 states. That's like half of all the Pakistanis in the U.S.
Definitely a huge responsibility. Makes you wonder what kind of challenges he faces in this role.
Well, from what he said on the Mansuri Show, it seems like one of the biggest issues is the limited space at the consulate. Serving such a large and diverse community from a relatively small building can't be easy.
That raises some interesting questions about how they manage their resources, and make sure they're reaching everyone who needs their services.
You're listening to the Mansuri Review. It's got to be a logistical puzzle. But surprisingly, Mr. Atozai actually said his experience has been pretty smooth. He credits a lot of that to the Pakistani-American community and how strong and cooperative they are.
It really shows how resilient and connected they are to their heritage. They seem very involved in helping the consulate do its work.
And that involvement is really clear in all the different things the consulate is doing. Let's talk about economic collaboration, for example.
Oh, that's something Mr. Atozai seems really passionate about. And for good reason. New York is a global financial hub. So many opportunities for everyone.
For sure. And his team is really taking advantage of that. The articles in Pakistan Link and Urdu Link talk about how they're connecting visiting delegations from Pakistan, even those with the Prime Minister during UNGA, with Pakistani-American professionals.
That's a great way to build networks and maybe even create some business partnerships.
It is, bringing people together from both sides. And they're not just leaving it to chance either. They're actively making these connections happen. They even work with organizations like Open.
Right, the one that focuses on financial stuff and helping young people, right? Interesting how they're bridging the gap between the experienced professionals and the younger generation.
Exactly. And through these partnerships, they're able to put together events and workshops and stuff, looking at investment opportunities and helping Pakistani businesses figure out the U.S. market.
I like how proactive they are. They're not just sitting around waiting. They're creating opportunities and making things happen.
And it's not just about big businesses either. Remember that Brilliance Foundation in the Urdu Link article? They're helping young Pakistani-American women learn important skills. Things like AI and physiotherapy, even professional communication, preparing them to be leaders.
That's amazing. It shows they care about supporting the next generation and helping them build a better future.
You're listening to the Mansuri Review. It really does. And it highlights how the consulate is really invested in both economic and social growth within the Pakistani-American community. And speaking of building connections, it goes beyond just business, too. They're really active in cultural diplomacy.
Now that's where things get really interesting. I mean, what better way to connect people than through shared experiences?
Totally. And the consulate is doing this in so many ways. The events they do with the Society of Foreign Consuls, for instance, are always a hit. Delicious food, beautiful clothes, traditional crafts. It's all such a great introduction to Pakistani culture.
It's the kind of experience that stays with you. And then you've got those collaborations with other missions for cultural festivals and those big food events.
Oh, yeah, those sound amazing. The Pakistan Link article said their biryani is legendary.
Who doesn't love biryani, right?
Nah.
But it's more than just good food. It's a chance to show off all the different kinds of Pakistani cuisine and how much history is behind it.
For sure. And it's not just for the Pakistani-American community. It's about reaching everyone and introducing them to how vibrant and rich Pakistani culture really is.
And what about the kite flying festival they do every year in Central Park? It's such a cool visual, bringing people together from all walks of life to share in this beautiful tradition.
It's brilliant, really, connecting with such a diverse crowd in a fun and engaging way. You can just imagine those colorful kites all over the New York skyline, bringing a little bit of Pakistan to the heart of Manhattan.
It's a powerful image, and it shows that cultural diplomacy can be meaningful and entertaining at the same time.
Definitely. And this focus on sharing their culture isn't just about, making friends. It's also helping Pakistan's tourism industry.
Oh, that's interesting. How is the consulate involved in that?
Well, do you remember that huge travel and tourism expo in New York? The Urdu Link article talked about it. Pakistan had a massive presence there. 18 companies. They even had the Chief Minister's Gilgit Baltistan.
Oh, yeah, I remember. And didn't they win Best Pavilion or something?
They did. And it wasn't just about the award either. It actually led to a real increase in tourism to Pakistan, especially from the U.S.
Wow, that's great. So all their efforts are actually bringing more people to experience Pakistan for themselves?
You're listening to the Mansuri Review.
Exactly. And those firsthand experiences are really important, according to Mr. Atozai. He really thinks that personal encounters are the best way to fight against negative stereotypes and show people what Pakistan is really all about. I get it. Pictures and articles can only do so much. But when people actually go to Pakistan, they see the beauty, they meet the people, they experience the hospitality, it totally changes their perspective.
It's all about breaking down those barriers and misconceptions that sometimes keep people from really understanding a place.
Right. And the consulate is doing a great job at making those encounters happen and helping to tell a different story about Pakistan.
And it's not just about tourism either. We have to remember that the Pakistani-American community itself is so diverse and vibrant, and the consulate plays a big role in supporting them too.
Speaking of the community, I'm really interested to hear how the consulate works with all the different groups and organizations that make up this community. It seems like such a rich and diverse tapestry.
Right. You have groups focused on all sorts of things, from welfare and human rights to cultural stuff and technology. They're all contributing something unique in strengthening the ties between Pakistan and the U.S.
Sounds like they have a real sense of community spirit and a desire to give back and make a difference.
Definitely. And the consulate recognizes how important that is. They're not just there to provide services. They're partnering with these groups, offering support, and working together towards common goals.
It's a really positive approach, working together like that. It creates a real sense of partnership and acknowledges how vital these groups are to the community.
Exactly. And those partnerships are visible in all sorts of initiatives.
I'm excited to hear more about some specific examples. What really stood out to you from the articles in the interview?
Well, one thing that really struck me was the work being done by, these women-led organizations. It's amazing how they're not only preserving Pakistani culture, but also providing so much support to their communities.
Yeah, it's really incredible. Organizing food drives, giving out winter supplies, even running educational programs and helping women learn new skills. They're really making a difference in people's lives.
It really shows how dedicated and compassionate they are, and it highlights how involved the Pakistani-American community is in, tackling social issues and helping those in need. Absolutely. And going back to the Brilliance Foundation we talked about earlier, that's another great example of how much the consulate cares about the next generation. By supporting organizations like this, they're making sure young Pakistani-American women have the skills and knowledge they need to succeed.
Yeah, it's all about investing in the future, right? Giving them the tools to become leaders and make a real impact.
Exactly. And these initiatives aren't limited to just the Pakistani-American community either. There are also groups focused on building stronger ties between Pakistan and the U.S., working with local politicians and stuff.
That's such an important part of what the consulate does, building those bridges, advocating for policies that benefit both countries, and making sure there's a real understanding between Pakistan and the U.S.
Right. It's about communication, addressing misunderstandings, and building relationships that can lead to positive change.
It really is. And speaking of building bridges, Mr. Atozai was really positive about his experience working with Friends of Pakistan. He talked about how well the consulate and this organization work together.
Yeah, that caught my attention too. What is it about Friends of Pakistan that makes them such a good partner?
Well, Mr. Atozai highlighted how focused they are on Pakistan's interests. They're all about promoting a positive image of the country and strengthening ties with the U.S. without any, personal or regional agendas getting in the way.
It's great to see that kind of dedication and commitment. It shows how much you can achieve when you have shared goals and work together. You're listening to the Mansuri Review. It really does. Okay, let's switch gears a bit and talk about the media. It can be so influential in shaping people's opinions, but it can also be a source of misinformation. Mr. Atozai definitely recognizes the challenges that come with negative portrayals of Pakistan in the media.
It's a constant battle, for sure. And with all the online stuff these days, misinformation can spread so quickly, it's crucial to have a plan to counter those negative stories.
So how is a consulate dealing with this? What are they doing to make sure that a more accurate and balanced picture of Pakistan is being presented?
Well, they have a few different strategies. One is to be constantly engaged. They're always reaching out to media outlets, both local and international, to correct any inaccuracies and provide a more complete perspective on Pakistan.
Right, so it's about being part of the conversation and not letting those negative narratives just dominate.
Exactly. They also emphasize the importance of personal experiences. Mr. Atozai really believes that the best way to change people's minds is to encourage them to visit Pakistan and see it for themselves.
That makes a lot of sense. Pictures and articles can only show so much. But when you actually meet the people, experience the culture, and see the beauty of the country firsthand, it has a much more powerful effect.
For sure. And the consulate is helping to make those experiences happen. They're promoting tourism, participating in international travel events, and really showcasing everything Pakistan has to offer to a wider audience.
You're listening to the Mansuri Review. And it's not just about changing perceptions abroad. They're also working hard to address the needs and concerns of the Pakistani-American community here in the U.S.
That's right. And it's not just about providing basic services like visas and passports. They're going beyond that, supporting community projects, partnering with organizations, and empowering people to build a brighter future.
The Brilliance Foundation is a perfect example of that. They're giving young Pakistani-American women the skills they need to succeed in today's world.
It's all about investing in the future, and it shows how committed the consulate is to helping the next generation grow and take ownership of their community.
Absolutely. And we can't forget about their efforts to strengthen ties between Pakistan and the U.S. at a political level. They're working with local politicians, advocating for policies that are beneficial for both countries, and trying to build bridges of understanding and cooperation.
Yeah, it's about creating a space for open dialogue, right? Addressing any misconceptions and helping people develop a more nuanced understanding of Pakistan and its place in the world.
Exactly. And Mr. Atozai is clearly a passionate advocate for his country. He really wants people to see its potential, its rich history, and its vibrant culture.
He's a true diplomat. He understands the importance of building relationships, working together, and finding common ground.
He really does. And he's setting a great example by fostering a culture of collaboration and partnership at the consulate.
It's really inspiring to see, and it makes me hopeful about the future of Pakistan-U.S. relations. There's clearly a strong foundation of friendship and cooperation, and the consulate is playing a vital role in strengthening those ties. Well, one way is through consistent engagement. They're constantly reaching out to media outlets, both local and international, to correct any inaccuracies and provide a more well-rounded perspective on Pakistan.
So it's about being proactive, right? Not
Yeah.
just letting those negative narratives stand unchallenged.
Yeah, exactly. And they also really believe in the power of firsthand experience. Mr. Atozai really emphasizes that encouraging people to visit Pakistan and see it for themselves is the best way to change perceptions.
That makes sense. Pictures and stories can only go so far. But when you actually experience a place, meet the people, see the beauty firsthand, it has a much deeper impact.
Absolutely. And the consulate is really facilitating those experiences. They're promoting tourism, participating in all those big travel expos, and showcasing Pakistan's diversity and richness to the world.
You're listening to the Mansuri Review. Right, and it's not just about changing perceptions overseas. They're also really focused on addressing the needs of the Pakistani-American community here in the U.S.
Definitely. And it goes beyond just providing basic services like, visas and passports. They're actively supporting community initiatives, partnering with organizations, and really empowering people to create a better future.
The Brilliance Foundation is a great example of that, empowering young Pakistani-American women and giving them the skills they need to succeed.
It's an investment in the future, and it shows how committed the consulate is to supporting the next generation and fostering a real sense of ownership and progress within the community.
Absolutely, and we can't forget about their efforts to strengthen ties between Pakistan and the U.S. at a political level. They're engaging with local politicians, advocating for policies that benefit both countries, and working to build those bridges of understanding and cooperation.
Right. It's all about creating that dialogue, addressing misconceptions, and helping people to really understand Pakistan and its role in the world.
Exactly. And you can tell that Mr. Atozai is a passionate advocate for his country. He's so eager to showcase its potentials, its rich history, and its vibrant culture.
He's a true diplomat. He really understands the importance of building relationships and finding common ground and, working together.
He does, and he's leading by example, creating a real culture of engagement and partnership at the consulate.
It's really inspiring to see, and it gives me a lot of hope for the future of Pakistan-U.S. relations. There's such a strong foundation of friendship and cooperation, and the consulate is playing such an important role in nurturing that.
It's been a fascinating journey exploring the work of the Consulate General of Pakistan in New York. From promoting economic collaboration and cultural exchange to supporting the Pakistani-American community and advocating for Pakistan's interests on the global stage. They're truly making a difference.
They really are. It's a testament to the power of diplomacy, the importance of community, and the transformative potential of human connection.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener for me. I have a much deeper appreciation now for the complexities and the rewards of diplomatic work.
Me too. It's been a pleasure discussing this with you.
Thanks for listening to the Mansuri Review. Keep watching The Mansuri Show, reading Pakistan Link and Urdu Link, and staying connected to Pakistan.